Tottenham fans, we all thought this transfer window was going rather well, rather splendid. We already had signed Mohamed Kudus, making a statement by going over to West Ham and picking up one of their better players for quite a reasonable fee. And then the Morgan Gibbs-White debacle. On that Thursday, around 2 weeks ago, it was given the here we go by Fabrizio Romano. It was all confirmed. He was set to have a medical and sign on the dotted line. I went on record. There's many videos on TalkSport, on my channel, on TikTok, wherever, where I said he was 100% gonna sign for Spurs. But now I look like a right fool because late last night, on Saturday night, the news broke that Morgan Gibbs-White would sign a new contract at Nottingham Forest, and then that was broken by David Ornstein. And then a couple of, I'd say about 20 minutes later, Nottingham Forest tweeted that he, did indeed sign that new deal. So today on the Tony Talks Spurs YouTube channel, we're going to be reacting to that and also talking about what Tottenham need to do now after this bad news to really, spur themselves on, to pardon the pun, and go on and make this transfer window a success. But before we go any further, if you are new to the Sonny Talks Spurs YouTube channel, then drop us a like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and also let me know in the comments down below, what should Tottenham do next after the Morgan Gibbs-White debacle? And are you annoyed? Who is to blame? Because that's where I'm going to actually start. Also last night, because for those you already saw, I did my first live stream on the channel. Quite late. It was about, because I've been out all day at a festival. I did it between 11:30 and midnight, and we had some good views on it. So I really appreciate any of you who watched that. And if you want me to do more live streams, let me know in the comments down below. Let me know by liking this video, because then I can gauge if there is a want for it. But back to MGW. I'm gutted. I can't lie. I'm gutted. I really thought, when it was confirmed at one point, I was like, this guy is going to take us to a new level. It's a statement signing. He, can compete in a team with the likes of James Maddison and Kulusevski. It would work. He could play, on the wing in a deep 8. I like the idea of it. But who is to blame? That's the key question. Because there's 3 parties. Daniel Levy / Tottenham, Nottingham Forest / Marinakis, and the player Morgan Gibbs-White. I mean, Levy, a lot of people are blaming him and saying it's embarrassing for Tottenham, but I feel like we did all we could. Like, what else can we do? If the middle person, I'll speak about in a minute, is being stubborn and a right plum to deal with, then what are you meant to do? I guess what you could say is Tottenham have not prepared. They've wasted 2 weeks. Like, why aren't they looking at other options? Why have they, stopped trying to pursue an Eberechi Eze or a Xavi Simons, where they could have just, maybe play hard to get with Forest. Go, well, if you're not going to play ball, we'll go and sign someone else. And then they might be like, oh, actually, yeah, okay. So that's one thing. Marinakis is just, what an owner he is. I mean, I've got to say fair play for being so stubborn and getting what he wanted by signing a new deal, getting rid of a release clause that was in that contract. Why have that release clause? What were you thinking? It's just balmy. So I think him and Nottingham Forest look embarrassing after this. I even after signing the contract, he doesn't want to be there. So yeah. And then Morgan Gibbs-White, if he really wanted to move, which was being reported, then he should have pushed for it. He should have really gone and been like, I want to leave. Kick up a fuss like Johan Visser is at Brentford. He wants to go to Newcastle. Kick up a bit of a fuss, because otherwise it just won't happen. It just won't happen. So that's what I think about the news in general with that. The next thing is, what do Tottenham do now? Because on the thumbnail I put a picture of Morgan Gibbs-White with a big cross through it. And then I put Xavi Simons and Eberechi Eze. I don't think we'll sign either of those players. Xavi Simons looks like he could be going to Chelsea. Eberechi Eze is still in talks with Arsenal. So that's quite gutting that we're not in for those 2 players. Because if we'd signed them 2, after this news, say yesterday that happens, and then this week we're in negotiations for either of them 2, you're like, well, it doesn't really matter. That is fine. I'm fine with that. But it won't happen because we're out of the race for those two players as well. A person I suggested on the live stream actually was James McAtee. So I don't know if anyone saw the news, but Morgan Gibbs-White was there was a transfer potentially to Manchester City, and Nottingham Forest would have wanted James McAtee to go in the other direction. So why don't we go and have a little look at James McAtee? I think he'd be a good option. He was one of England's best players at the Under-21 Euros. I feel like that would be a good viable option. Tottenham just now need to go and make some statement signings to really win over the fan base because, as I say, I think the window's been okay so far. Kudos a good signing. Takai's a good signing. Tell and Dan's on permanence are good, but I feel like there's a lot of question marks. A lot of people in the live stream last night were saying Garnacho maybe, and I'm not sure about that, but you have to let me know in the comments down below what players you think Tottenham should be trying to sign this summer, because it's now like, do we go for a 6? Do we go for a left back? Like, it's very much a confusing window now, because I feel like we were confused with the Morgan Gibbs-White transfers I mentioned earlier. Like, did we actually need him? I feel like we did, because he offers something a bit different to Maddison and Kulusevski, and they could all play together actually. And then Kudos can play like both wings and a 10 and whatnot. So I think it was just as well, we liked the idea of it because Levy or whoever's in charge of transfers, Johan Lang, we were going for Premier League proven players. You know, and then over the last couple of seasons, we've been signing, you know, youngsters from the Championship or youngsters from around Europe. So yeah, it's a strange one, isn't it? It's one of those ones where it does leave a gut punch. But Tottenham now have to go and do something they're not used to, and really, you know, put a stamp down in this market and be like, we're here, we're going to compete with, you know, the rest of the Premier League. Because the problem is we have as well is like Liverpool, stellar window so far, absolutely unbelievable, one of the best windows I've seen in a long time. Chelsea have done some good business. City have done some good business, and Arsenal. And you know, on the day when Arsenal signed Gyökeres, and we're like, so they confirm a massive signing and a striker signing that they've needed for years, and we miss out on a transfer. It is quite embarrassing. But yeah, we've had it with Willian. You know, we had it with so many players where they agree deals and go the other way, and you know, had their head turned. Someone puts in a better offer. You know, Grealish and what was it, Sardo Berahino. I'm glad that one didn't happen. With 4 bids and he didn't come. So I'm used to it, but it's just one of those things where you're like, my word, like what has to go? Like, we won the Europa League last year. Like, it was a great moment. I'm so glad we won it, but take that away, and I think we would have had a similar window. It hasn't really like kicked us on to like come and compete in the Premier League next season. And then I feel sorry for Thomas Frank because he's not being backed fully. He's not being able to have a squad like that can be implemented and, you know, really good. It's like, I look at Newcastle's situation, it feels very similar. Just we're lucky that there's no high profile assets that want to leave Spurs. We're seeming to, you know, be able to keep a lot of our players this summer. It's just Son's future that's up in the air. But it'll be interesting to see what happens this summer if now Tottenham pivot there. You know, should we now go for a 6? Should we now be going for someone else? Because the only other links I've seen in recent weeks is Palhinha. I mean, I'd like the idea of Douglas Luiz potentially. Forrest been linked with him as well, so I'd see a summer where he ends up at Forest as well. Because that will be definitely how the cookie crumbles. But let me know in the comments down below, what did you make of the Morgan Gibbs-White debacle? Are you happy it's over? Are you gutted? And who would you like us to sign instead this summer? But yeah, thank you for watching. Leave your like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and also let me know in the comments down below and by view of the like button if you want me to do more live streams like I did last night. But yeah, until next time, up the Spurs, and I'll see you guys pretty soon. Ciao.